Hey, hey, it's Bernadette. Welcome, welcome. So today we're going to do a little bit of a different live stream. This is going to get real personal and real quick. So I hope that whatever you hear inspires you. And what I'm going to do is share with you the journey that I've been on for the last several months, which has intensified over the last maybe 2 months. This has been going on for a year. I've had some pretty big health challenges that I've kept to myself for the most part. My charm life peeps know about it, and um, mm, some other people close to me as well as my family. But I haven't been wanting to open up about what I've been going through because A, it's my health. I don't want other people's opinions. And B, it was sketchy. It was getting kind of sketchy for a bit there. But I've had some amazing breakthroughs in the last, week to 2 weeks. And I want to share what those breakthroughs are, what I've been doing, what I've been going through, all the things. And this is about health. So I'm going to give you the warning right now. If you have funkiness surrounding like health issues, turn away. But if you do have health issues, maybe you have acute stuff or you have chronic stuff, my hope is by sharing what's going on with me and some of the things I'm doing, either you get some insights into your own journey, you get inspired to keep going, you get empowered to keep going. And most of all, what I want to do is empower you to become your own health advocate. So before I jump in, I'd really like it with whoever's watching, and we've got uh, some peeps here on Facebook. I am broadcasting on YouTube. I'm not broadcasting anywhere else because I feel more comfortable here. And this has taken me a minute. Like it's taken me a bit to even want to do this, but my energy is so shifted today that I have to share some things that I'm doing because it's made a huge difference and it's created a big breakthrough. So I'm gonna I wanna see who's watching. Like, don't just stalk me on this one. This is my personal, deep stuff that I'm sharing with y'all. So I'd really appreciate it if y'all would comment, say hello, let me know you're here. Don't just like lurk in the background, please. Cause I'm gonna be very vulnerable. And this is a very vulnerable stream for me. I've thought about I've thought about sharing my journey before, but I thought, no, I'm not ready. Um, so let me just give you a backstory of what's been going on. This time, let's see, it was a year ago, 2020. Thanks, Sandy. 2022, about September, October. I was beginning to feel kind of awkward, weird in my stomach. Now, many of you, if you've read my story, if you followed me for a number of years, you might remember that I've had colon cancer and I've had leukemia in the past. Well, I was having some funky stuff with my body, with my digestion. My digestion seemed to be working fine, but I was having some pains in my stomach. And that was in September, October of last year. And I went looking for just, I do my research and I always look to see what's available as far as natural treatments, natural modalities. I'm always reading the medical journals and stuff like that because I'm an alternative health practitioner and I do health coaching. So, and I don't like the restrictions in Western medicine. There are so many things out there that can heal us and assist in our healing, but they're not well known and they're not well advertised because in this country and in many of the other countries, I'm not going to say all of them, but many of the other countries, you're not going to find a lot of these in the mainstream. So I always go searching for all of it because I want to know what my options are. So I started to have these problems. That's when I discovered biomagnetism therapy. It was around that time and was like, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to get certified in this because my machine, which some of you know, I have a QXCI SKIO machine that I've had since 2000 and 2001, 2002. It's been a long time. it had deactivated. I'm like, "Oh, no, when I need it most, it's not here." So I couldn't even really scan for what was going on. I just had to keep watch on it. And it wasn't severe, right? But I knew something was going on. My hair started to fall out. So I went to the doctor and he tested my thyroid and he's like, "You're a little hyperthyroid." I'm like, "Okay, I don't think that's what's causing it, but let's take the dose down." So we did. That I've been bruising a lot. And for me, that's always a flag because I've had leukemia. It's a flag, like something's up with your blood. You need to pay attention. Um, but I got busy and I gained some weight. I gained like, 10, 13 pounds since moving from Seattle to Texas. And I thought, well, maybe it's just because I've gained weight, but my stomach was not feeling right. So the beginning of the year, I called an up level, as you guys might remember. And at that time, I tried to work out, but I was very exhausted. Another red flag for me because I usually am super high energy. And it wasn't working. I wasn't going to the gym. I was working out at home here and there, and I thought, well, maybe it's because I got COVID, yada, yada, but I was getting sick a lot more often too. So fast forward to, I won't fill you in on all the details, but fast forward to this September. And I did a parasite cleanse. And oh my God, tell me in the comments, have you done one? Because I hadn't done one in a while. Like that is usually a protocol I keep up, but I hadn't done one in a while. And by while, I mean, I don't think I didn't do one in Texas. We've been here three, almost 4 years now, 3.5 years now, about, yeah, 3.5 years. So I haven't done one since 3.5 years, but I also hadn't done one for maybe a year prior. So maybe it's been 4.5 years since I've done a parasite cleanse. Now, usually I keep up on them like yearly, quarterly, every half year at least, but I hadn't done one. And I don't know if you guys are aware, and I want to see your comments. Like, don't just stalk me on this one. This is really personal, and it's making me really insecure that I'm sitting here on this live stream sharing what's going on and what's been going on. And I haven't even gotten to the gnarly parts yet, but like without your comments. So please let me know you're watching. Please at least say hello. This is super vulnerable. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this in hopes that it helps someone, it sparks some insight, and it empowers you. So please, besides Andy, can you say hello? And if you're watching the replay later, at least let me know you're on the replay. It's like pulling teeth, I swear. Okay. So I hadn't done a parasite cleanse. Hi, Susan. So good to see you. Hadn't done a parasite cleanse, and I did one in September. Hi, John. And the results were crazy. Like it made me really sick. The first week I was super sick, like 10 days. So I'm like, wow, I must have parasites. Now I wasn't seeing them come out like in quantity until after 10 days. And then, oh my golly Wally, did I get a lot of parasites out. And I wish that I could tell you all that in October, which is when the parasite cleanse ended, that I was better and I was well. That wasn't the case, but it did sort of start the journey of getting things moving. So here's what happened too. Thanks, Ashley. Here's what happened from September to October that I didn't mention from last year to 2023. There was a hardness, like a mass in my abdomen from above my belly button to above my rib cage. And I thought it was because maybe I'd gained weight. Well, I hired a personal trainer in August, so I started to get in shape. I started counting calories. I started losing weight. And the more weight I lost, the more I could feel that mass. And if any of you have ever had cancer before, I don't know, or you've had a dog with cancer, it's been both for me. My dog Shasta had cancer all surrounding her neck. And as you know, I've had a colon tumor. So there's a feel to it. And I hate that word, and I hate the repercussions of it, which is why I haven't come on here because, it's it's a bit scary when you say it out loud. And I really was kind of keeping things to myself. I mean, kind of let my family know something's up. I'm not really sure what's going on, but it's not right. I had my daughter push on it, and she's like, "Oh my God, like that's not right." I had extreme abdominal pain for a while. Don't even know how to do a parasite cleanse. So I bought this new one, and I'll share it with you at the end of the stream because I've done two, and I'll share the two um, and probably give you updates later as to which one I think works better. The first one was tinctures, and it was a lot. The second one's pills, and I think it's working, but I won't know because I just started it yesterday for probably another 7 days. In any case, so you know, back in September, October, I was feeling kind of crap. And as I lost more weight, the hardness in my abdomen was getting more pronounced to the point where I'd lost, I think, 10 pounds. And when I went to do sit-ups, and I had to quit my personal trainer 3 weeks ago, um, as I sat up, did sit-ups, you could tell my left side of my abdomen was flat. You could see my ab muscles, but on the right side, there's this protruding bulge. And when I did crunches, it hurt. Very uncomfortable. But see, for a long time, I thought, well, the pain that I'm experiencing, maybe it's just fat because it kept feeling it up into my rib cage. And I'm like, is it my liver? Is it that hardness? But then there was a big ball that would protrude out to the side, kind of where your cecum is, out to the side towards my hip. And I'm like, well, that ain't right. Like, I know that's not right. And when I was having massages the last 3 months, because it's progressively gotten worse, like really bad in the last probably 3 to 4 months or longer. But in any case, when she was doing massages on the right side of my back, I had to tell her back off. It was hurting. As she was massaging my back, that mass was getting pushed on, and it was so painful. So in my massages, I haven't had her work on that area. She's avoiding it, but it's bad. It's been bad, not bad right now. So I did the parasite cleanse, got a lot of worms, a lot of eggs out, that first one. And it was done in October. So I let it be, and I was doing some colon cleansing, but nothing was moving it, and nothing that I normally do. And when I say normally, when I had cancer before, I did supplements, I did herbs, I did enemas, coffee, water, aloe, all the things. And I was becoming really constipated, which means there's a narrowing, there's a narrowing. It's not like I wasn't going to the bathroom. It wasn't even painful, but there was a narrowing and change in the way that my stool was coming out. And being the health-minded person I am, I'm like, okay, now things are really not right. And I did still see little worms, but I'm like, okay, what else do I need to do? So I bought insurance in December. Any of you that know me know damn well that Bernadette doesn't go to the doctor unless it's serious. So I bought insurance in December that activated on January 1st. But I just am not into, y'all know this, Western medicine. I think it's great for diagnostics, but most of the things that they're going to do, even diagnostically, I'm not for. And as far as their treatments, it's poison. Like, I'm a natural health person, poison. So I kind of did it for my own peace of mind, A, B, in case I needed surgery so that I didn't go bankrupt, and also to put my family's mind at ease because they were watching things progressively get worse. Like, my hair's been falling out for months. I don't know if you guys can see this. My hair has been super thin, thinner than it's ever been in my entire life, except for maybe when I had cancer. And it's been strange. Like, everything's just been strange. My energy levels, the brain fog, like weird. So even though I bought health insurance, I went and found an Ayurvedic doctor because the herbs I was taking were not doing anything. An Ayurvedic doctor is Eastern Indian medicine and herbs, and I've read a lot of the reports on the herbs taking care of things like cancer, being very good for different body types. And I found one, and he happens to be very well known in the United States, but he's 30 minutes from me. Took me pages on Google, like weeks of searching to find this guy, and he happens to be 30 minutes from me. So I hired him and got his herbs and changed my diet to basically all I'm eating is wet, mushy food, to get things moving and to keep them moving, because there's the thought too that there's some sort of internal intestinal blockage. Now, it can't possibly just be a blockage because of the way the hardness is. Again, it was extending beyond my belly button. It had grown beyond my belly button to the left of my belly button, and covered an area like this big, pretty big and hard as a rock. Your intestines are not supposed to be that hard, and it's not supposed to be like a sheet. They should not all be connected. But the research I was doing was like, well, I did have a hysterectomy. It started right under that scar. It could be an adhesion. It could be lots of things, but that didn't explain the rest of it. So things were getting bad. And 2 weeks ago, I'm looking for colon hydrotherapy with ozone because that's what I used with my colon tumor too. Many of you know. But here in Texas, you have to have a doctor's prescription and referral and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I looked up my friend who I thought was no longer doing colon hydrotherapy, but she is. She was just opening a new clinic with a whole lot of other stuff. Called her and booked an appointment, 2 of them in a row, and went to Colorado. Some of you might have seen the pictures and were wondering, what is Bernadette doing in Colorado? I drove with my daughter and my son-in-law and my granddaughter through the night to get to Colorado on a Thursday afternoon, to do colon hydrotherapy with ozone. A, because I know her and she's been at it for 29 years. B, because it's affordable, and I was desperate. I'm like, I'm not going to let this just go. I got to do something. And I just started the herbs, and they weren't really working yet. Nothing was happening. And I went in to see her, and the very first day, the first thing that came out was a worm that was very fat and that long. It was like over 12 inches long. And she said, in my 29 years, I've never seen one colored like that, but this thing is ancient, Bernadette, which means there's got to be more, but your body's not releasing. Usually when I have colon hydrotherapy, my gallbladder will dump, my liver will clear. Like, there's different colors to the liquid. You can tell the water was clear, but that came out. And with a whole lot of work and a whole lot of pushing on my abdomen, another one came out that was a little bit longer and a lot thicker, like that thick. It was crazy. She said that one's ancient too, but then nothing else would come out. And so she kept working it. Like, I had an hour-long ozone treatment that burned, but whatever. I was willing to put up with it because ozone is hyperoxygenated, and oxygen kills parasites, pathogens, viruses, whatnot. But she couldn't get the water all the way around to where all of this, she's like, you've got some sort of a blockage for sure. And I said, well, what do you think? Be honest, you know me. She said, I'm worried. She said, I don't think it's just a blockage, and I'm worried. This isn't right. So do you think of what I'm thinking? She said, are you thinking cancer? And I said, I am. And she said, me too. And I'm worried. She goes, but I wish you were here because I would work on you every day. I'm like, I'm here for another day. So we did a second treatment. And the next day, barely anything was coming out, which is so unlike me. Like, I've had tons of colon hydrotherapy sessions. So unlike me. When I had the colon tumor, that was not having an issue. But this is different. It's in my intestines. And there was nothing more we could do. She worked it hard. I had to go home on Friday. Only stayed for 2 days. So I came home, still concerned. She's been keeping in touch with me every single day. The herbs did finally start to work after like 7 days. Things started to move. But not enough, and not enough to change the feeling of that mass that's still there. And so my hip was hurting. I was getting really concerned. Went looking again and meditating and praying. And the other morning, I guess it was Sunday morning, I was sitting outside praying and doing my morning prayers, and Spirit said, "Remember that energy technology that you researched last year?" I was like, "I do, but I don't know the name of it." And they're like, "Go look it up." So I'm like, "Okay," run to my computer, Google energy technology for healing. And I'm like, "This isn't working, Spirit. Like, am I hearing things? Am I going crazy? Like, what's up?" And they said, "You sent the link to one of my clients, um, because it was somewhere where she could get to fairly easily, and she's got some chronic issues. Go look at that message." So I looked her up on Facebook because it was within a Facebook message that I'd sent it to her last October. And so funny, because there weren't that many centers opened, I bought a medallion that was charged. It's scalar technology. I bought a medallion that was highly charged with the scalar energy that creates healing. If you don't know what scalar is, you can look it up. The name of the technology, and it's these frequency generators, these big frequency generators. They put several in a room that create a loop, like a figure eight loop of high frequency energy. It's called EE systems. So eesystems.com. E like elephant, systems, EE systems, yeah, .com. I clicked on the link, then I started to watch videos, just enough. And I'm like, okay, now I clearly remember what this is, but man, there wasn't anything close to me a year ago. And they said, click on the find a location. Like, okay. And sure enough, 40 minutes for me, 45 minutes for me, there's a center with 24 units, which is a good number of units for exactly what I'm dealing with. So I sent an email and I said, "Hey, this is what's going on. I'm a little concerned. How quickly can I get in? And how much time do you think I need in the room?" And you're just sitting in a room in a recliner, in a anti-gravity chair, whatever. But my machine, my QXCI machine, does scalar, does Rife, does a lot of different things. It's a frequency generator. I did get it rebooted. I did get it reactivated. I bought some software from one of the dealers and they helped me get it started again. And I tested myself and scanned myself the other day and was working on myself. But it's like the frequency's coming out of there because it's old. It just does not feel that powerful. Like, I don't think it's pumping out the frequencies that it used to when it was in its early years. So I understand scalar. I really do. And y'all can go study up on it, but you don't have to if you just go to E Systems. They explain the technology. There's lots of research papers and whatnot. So because she got back to me so quickly and I was able to book in for Monday, I spent 4 hours in a center, an EE center here locally in Texas. And let me just tell you, it blew my mind. First, I spent all of Sunday like watching every single testimonial video from people who've been in there. There have been people who were blind for 5 years that got their eyesight back. This one woman in, I think, Louisville, Kentucky, older woman, had macular degeneration in her right eye for 5 years, couldn't see out of it, had a retina detachment in her left eye, had surgery, and couldn't drive, right? Spent time in the EE systems, and she got her flipping vision back. Like, she's driving. It's insane. It helped her to resolve her neuropathy and whatever. Like, they have overnights. So this after I went for the 4 hours, um, that was Monday. Today is what? Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. So by yesterday, Tuesday, I didn't notice too much on the mass, although it did seem like it was smaller. My digestion opened up, so that started working properly, and I'm like, hallelujah, I don't feel so toxic. But then the weird thing is I broke my hip when my horse stepped on me in 1986, and my left hip is very sore when I lay on it. It's got a weird, dull, aching pain, and then my leg goes numb, so I can't lay on my left side for very long. It's very, very uncomfortable. But I was noticing that there's no pain on my left side when I lay on it. It takes like, a good 20, 30 minutes before it starts to get uncomfortable, which is huge different. 2 minutes on my left side, I just could not stand it. It was so uncomfortable. Now I can lay on that side and it doesn't even feel weird. And I don't know if it really hurts right now. I'm just so used to it hurting that psychologically, I think. So when I was sitting in there, the first things that happened is I got super emotional and agitated emotionally. And the way that the scalar waves work in this system, it will balance the left and right hemispheres of your brain. It's helped children that have nonverbal autism to speak, right? To calm. Like it's helped people with cancer heal their cancer. There's so many testimonials out there. If you go to YouTube to Unified, I think is the name of it, UNIFYD. Jason Shurka, actually, it's SHURKA. He's got a ton of videos of practitioners or people who own the centers and the results they're getting. It's crazy. And they don't claim to cure you or to heal you or anything like that. It facilitates your healing of yourself. And it's funny because the morning that Spirit reminded me of this technology, I kept hearing and have heard it all week. Physician, heal thyself. I'm like, okay. Crazy, crazy. So today, as of today, like I mentioned, my brain was really scattered. I have not felt creative. It's been a push for me to be able to sit up. Hi, Julie. For me to be able to sit up for any amount of time, I've had to lay down quite a bit over the last month and a half. I've been really exhausted and I haven't been thinking clearly. And you know how bubbly and optimistic I am. I was getting really kind of tapped. Like I was starting to think, this is it for me. I'm on my way out. And that is so not like me. And like Spirit would tell me things like, that's not true. But I was starting to get scared. I put an emergency list together. If something happens to me, I typed it all out, where all my passwords are, where the mortgage gets paid, because I'm the bill payer. I'm the bank of the house. Made a whole thing for my daughter, and my dad's like, well, what happens? And I was like, look, I already handled that. It's on my bulletin board. It's under emergency. It's a whole sheet of how to do everything. Shut down my my website and programs. Like, don't let anyone purchase anything. Let the people that have memberships finish their memberships. Like, I have all these instructions. That's how serious it's been. And they've all been like scared. And I was starting to just give up and just go, yeah, this is like, I've had to battle cancer so many times and I'm tired. Like, maybe I'm just done. And I have a really wonderful friend who's commented in here, Andy, who's also one of my high performance clients, who has been quietly supporting me. He's like, you're not done yet. And I'm like, but my business has gone down. Like, I haven't been creative. I've been doing so many things trying to ignore it. But I wasn't really addressing it. And all year I was working on so many people and addressing their health stuff with biomagnetism. I wasn't working on myself. And so it got real bad. So some of you are like, well, how come, you've got all these modalities. Why didn't you work on yourself? With magnets, it's very difficult to work on yourself. A. B, because you got to have so many. B, I was so tired at the end of the day, just getting through my day. It's like the shoemaker. Your kids get their shoes last. Big, huge lesson in remembering to put myself first. And that if I'm not well, like, what's the point, right? So in the last few weeks, I've gotten a little selfish with my time because I have to, right? I'm not helping people for free anymore. Like, I don't have time. If I have free time, it's going to my body and what's going on with me. So Um, as of today, this is so great. There's that ball, the Seacom ball, like, it was the size it would range from the size of, bigger than a golf ball, I wanna say, like, that big. It was about that big, feeling it. It was big, right? And it would hit the top of my hip. Now, your intestines should not be wrapping to the right side of your hip. And if I ate too much or whatever, it'd really push on my hip. It was so uncomfortable to the point where I could feel it popping out my side. And I'm like, that ain't right. And then the swelling and hardness that would go up even higher into my rib cage just made sitting so uncomfortable. Well, as of today, that big ball is like that big. It shrunk after being in the EE system for 4 hours. And all I did was sit there, process through some emotions, meditated a lot, prayed. Um, and I've been wearing my medallion from the EE systems people, like, that was hanging on my bulletin board. I'd forgotten about it, completely forgotten about it, couldn't even find it. Prayed, Spirit, where the heck is that medallion? I know I bought one. Looked in my email because I saved my receipts. Sure enough, I bought one last October because there were no centers around me. And they said, "Look on your bulletin board." There it was, hidden behind some papers that were, pinned up there. So I've been wearing that ever since too, because they charge it. They directly wire these things, these medallions, right into the scalar machine and charge them up so they stay charged. Um, so I've been wearing that too when I sleep at night, but 4 hours. So on Saturday, I'm gonna spend the night. I'm gonna do an overnight, in the E system. Me and a friend of mine get the place to ourselves, and we get to sleep. They've got air mattresses in this one at this center here in Texas. And they're gonna lock us in, turn the alarms on, and I get to go from 7 p.m. until she told me, she goes, "Stay as long as you need to on Sunday. Like, if you the longer you can stay in that energy, the better it's gonna be." Because I asked her, I said, "What kind of results have you seen with people with cancer?" And she shared some of it. That one guy actually, was cancer free, but he hadn't come back. So she doesn't know, where he's at. She said, but there's other people that have come in that were starting to feel better, but they just wouldn't change their diet. And I know how that goes because it's the same with biomagnetism therapy. Like, I can get you straight, but if you're still going to poison yourself, there's not much you can do, right? Like, what up with that? But I have high hopes. I don't know if it's only going to take one overnight, but we'll see what comes out of this overnight. On top of it, oh my God, my creativity, my brain is back. My positivity is back. My energy levels rose so high. Like, I was having a hard time reaching spirit for myself, right? It takes such an inordinate amount of energy to get answers for myself. I could get them from other people, but I just wasn't having as good a luck for myself. And just 4 hours in that room, like, whole everything's reconnected now. My digestion is working much better. The hardness in my belly, so it went about an inch or two to the left of my belly button and covered pretty much from below my rib cage, to about, if you know where your ileocecal valve is, because that's all messed up too. In any case, if you don't, it's not a big deal. It's a big area. Like, it's big area. It's now shrunk to in line with my belly button. And like I said, there's that bump that was yay big is this big now. I'm starting to feel the separation, where I can tell what part of my colon. So I can tell my transverse colon, my ascending colon, my cecum. Like, I can tell the different pieces, but there's still a sheet of hardness, that is, yeah, that needs to go away. I'm hoping that overnight's going to fix it. On top of that, so I'll give you guys an update. It's pretty amazing, right? So eesystems.com, you want to check it out. Like, really amazing. I mean, if you go to Jason Shirka's website or YouTube channel, he shares a bunch of testimonials from things that, I mean, autoimmune disorders, autism, cancer, blindness. Like, it's the only technology I know that fixes blindness in someone that was blind for more than 5 years. Like, what is up with that? Super exciting. My dad's gonna go. He doesn't want to spend the night, but he is gonna go for his kidneys and for his ankle, and he's got CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia. So, um, yeah, that's where I'm at. Feeling super pumped and positive. Like, I'm still doing my herbs. I'm still working with the the Ayurvedic doctor, and much to his dismay, still doing enemas with water and aloe because it's only helping. And I'm trying to get whatever other worms coming out, but I know there's more worms. And I talked to my friend Dixie in Colorado, and she's like, yeah, see if you can get some more parasites out. So I did some research. This is the funniest parasite cleanse that I've ever seen, but the reviews are really good. And it's called Scram. And it says, let me see. Where's my glasses? It's the funniest damn thing. It's on Amazon. It's you or them. Move them out. That's awesome. So I just started that yesterday. A lot of people said when they took it, they got like Herxheimer, which is, rapid cleansing, and they didn't like it. But a lot of people said they got worms out, which is what I'm counting on right now. For those of you who are like, why would you go that route if you actually do have the C word? My belief and my understanding and how I've treated everything up until this point naturally is there's a few things that cause cancer. Bacterias, multiple bacterias, virus, and parasites. If you have like the trifecta, parasites, double bacteria, and virus, and something called Mycobacterium leprae, which I scan positive for with magnets, you get cancer. Just the way that goes. Have not been able to make enough of a dent because I waited too long with the biomagnetism therapy. And because there's other things that are going on. Did I have to test? I didn't need to test for it because I went to colon hydrotherapy and they came out that long. Like, she stopped the flow of the water, and we both stared at it and examined it quite well. And I've gotten like spirally ones out. And when I did the parasite cleanse in September, a ton of them came out, and eggs. I've done plenty of parasite cleanses in my life. I know what worms look like. I can identify them. I know what flukes look like. I know what roundworms look like. I know what they look like. So, yes, I had parasites. We all do, y'all. Like, don't believe me. I was reading an article by a doctor who does autopsies the other day, and he was talking about how so many times he'll do an autopsy, and when they cut open the organs, like the intestines, the liver, and sometimes the brains, worms, parasites. But it doesn't go on the autopsy report because, usually the cause of death is a heart attack. They don't put that stuff in the autopsies. It's so much more common than you think. So y'all need to do some parasite cleansing. Like, I'm gonna leave that up to you. So Lori, the other one that I did was one called Parify. The one I did in September was from a lady that I found on TikTok, and she does tinctures. And they were strong. They worked, but sorry. But the tinctures are harder to deal with, and they just taste horrible. Like, so I decided I'm going back to capsules. And the ingredients to this one's slightly different than the one she mixed. So I think part of what happened in September is I didn't get them all out, and then you have to wait 14 days and then cycle again. Well, it takes 5 weeks for her to get hers out. And I'm like, not waiting 5 weeks. So I bought 2 bottles of this. I'll do the 14 days, or I guess it's like 28 days, and then you wait 14 days and you do another cycle for the babies. And what my colon hydrotherapist friend said was, you're going to have to do 2 cycles anyways, because though as big and ancient as those worms are that we got out, there's got to be kids. Like, yeah, I know. And that it will help, like magnets help with the worms, and also this EE systems technology can help with that. But right now, I need all the help I can get. I am finally able to share this with y'all because I'm not scared anymore. I'm not feeling fearful. I've got my plan, I've got my protocol. And here's what's funny. So on Friday, I tried to get an appointment, Friday the 8th, I guess it was. No. Yes, Friday the 8th. I tried to get an appointment to start as a new client with with a primary, right? You have to go to primary, then they refer you and do all the testing, yada yada yada. Well, I called and I had to call twice, and apparently the new client person wasn't in, so the lady transferred me twice. I left a message. They never got back to me. Like, that was in the morning Friday. And I was like, if I meant to go the route of Western, I'll go. But you're going to have to nail me to a table if you expect me to do chemicals and radiation. And I'd already expressed that to my family. Like, I'll go to the doctor, but I'm telling you right now, I mean, I ain't going out like that. Just not. If that's where things are headed, I am not going to get that toxic and sick. Like, at least this way I have a fighting chance. And they never called me. And then I found, Spirit reminding me about this EE systems on Sunday. And it is Thursday, and the doctor's office still has not called me, which to me, because I'm led by Spirit, is a sign. Is like, keep going the path I'm going. And things are working. It's shrinking, right? My diet sucks right now. Like, I have to eat mushy food, and I can't eat so many things that I really like. I had already gone back to being plant-based 90% of the time. Now I'm 100% plant-based. But I can't eat dry, hard foods. I can't eat salads. I have to eat soups and stews and steamed vegetables. And a lot of the vegetables I enjoy, like broccoli, I can't have, which sucks. That's just part of the Ayurvedic diet. I'm sharing all of this with you guys because there's always ways to take care of things without giving your power away, right? But like me, you have to take full responsibility for where your health is going. You have to be willing to try the things that aren't mainstream if you want to maintain your sanity and your ability to get well. I'm not about taking drugs. I'm not about, I just don't, my body's super sensitive. I'm not about it. I'm much more about handle things naturally. And if that's not you, I am all for you. However you want to do your walk and your journey with your health is entirely up to you. But the one thing I do know is the more whole foods we get, and I don't drink alcohol, haven't drank alcohol in years. This is like, I've had a lot of stress. I've had a lot of emotional issues come up from things with my dad, because my dad lives with me. Funny enough, every time I've ever hurt myself or had disease, it's been on the left side of my body. This time it's on the right by no accident. Masculine father, right. But I'm hopeful. And I've got a whole team of people right now that are on my side, that believe in what I'm doing, that are not questioning me. Even my family now is like, it's going to be okay. We trust you. I mean, they've watched me walk through leukemia and colon cancer naturally too. It scares the hell out of them. No lie. And I didn't want to hear from anybody that was going to be like, you're being stupid, go to the doctor. I wanted to do this my way. And I needed to get far enough where I could get my brain and my emotions back in line and gain back control out of fear. But for a while there, I was starting to drop into massive fear. And I'm going to tell all of you that are going through stuff, that is the worst place to be. Like, you don't think straight. And with brain fog, it's very difficult, which, there's all these fears about money and, oh my God, where's this going? How am I going to pay my bills? Am I going to go bankrupt? Like, so much was going on in my head and worrying, and the last thing I was even that concerned with was how I was feeling, but it was kicking my butt. This week is the first week in months that I haven't had to lay down and take a nap. It's the first week that I feel like I'm myself again. And all I did was spend 4 hours in there, do Ayurvedic herbs, change my diet. It's amazing how fast things are shifting and changing. Now, a lot of people are like, "But you ain't all better yet." No, you know what? It I could go the route of the doctor and all the diagnostics and cancer treatments, chemo, radiation treatments for 6 to 8 weeks, depending on what they decide, and surgery and all of that, and it wouldn't be fixed right away either. Natural medicine can take longer, but the results I've already seen just spending 4 hours in a room where I get to meditate by I can be by myself, no cell phone. It's glorious, glorious. Andy's saying for those wondering about gut health, the masterclass tutorial is a good story. Look, if you're wondering about gut health, just go onto YouTube, go onto Netflix. I mean, even my oldest, Brindy, today was like, "Uh, you wanna know some disgusting facts about our food I learned?" I'm like, "You're not gonna tell me anything I haven't already tried to tell you, but go ahead, educate me." And she shared about some things with flour and stuff like that. I'm like, processed garbage." Because she's having some flare-ups. I tried to talk her into spending the night with us girls and have a pajama healing party, but she's not there yet because she's got a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed. She has Hashimoto, she has autoimmune, her allergies are always off the chain. She's got all kinds of stuff her doctors can't seem to get under control, ADD, ADHD, and there's been some good testimonials about that too. It's just crazy. There's a lady, so a doctor. This is the best testimonial. If you go on to Jason Shirka's YouTube, there is a woman in Florida, a doctor who was in a plane crash, like a little plane crash. And she tells her story. And she went to an EE Systems and she was up and moving in a week. They had to do massive surgery on her leg. She thought she was going to die, like bad things. She was up and moving. Some of the EE people reached out to her and she's like singing the praises because within 7 days, she was up and moving. Out of surgery, no pain pills after 3 days from being in the EE Systems technology. And she's a doctor. So if you don't have to take what I'm saying like and go, Bernadette's crazy or what's this all? We're entering into, and this is what's fabulous. 2024, I said one of the things that I predicted and kind of shared on the forecast that Spirit told me is 2024 is the year where alternative health, new healing modalities, new technologies would come to the foreground because the healthcare system, especially here in the US, is just failing. Medicine, prescriptions, BS, surgeries, right? It's not really helping people, it's poisoning them. That was one of the things that's going to come about. And if you want to get the full 2-hour yearly forecast, which was in a very long, very informative, very complete forecast for $40, just go to my website or you can just click on my bio on social media and there's a link where you can get it. If you just scroll my Facebook page, it's big and bold in there. And then if you still can't find it, just message me. In any case, that was one of the predictions, as Spirit said, is 2024 is a year where there's going to be massive breakthroughs of alternative healing modalities and solutions for health breaking on the scene. It's going to stun people. That's part of the big paradigm shift from the healthcare system. So, I hope this spreads like wildfire. It's amazing. In the last year, where there was only like maybe 7 centers open in all of the US, there are like over 100 right now, I think, in the US, and then it's gone global. So they've got India's got one in one of their temples, which I think is so cool. And I would love to have a system. They're expensive, super, super expensive, but they're opening everywhere. There's a big one in Vegas we found. There's Utah, Denver area, I think. There's some in Kentucky, in North Carolina. Like, they're all over, and it's growing, not just in the US, other places too. So check it out if it's something you might need. And like, talking to my friend today, it was like, that sounds like it'd be a really good, like, even if you don't have that much wrong with you, just a tune up. I'm like, no joke. Your energy just raises, really amazing, but it hits you, the scalar waves, the way that these frequencies are tuned in, these scalar waves are hitting you on a cellular level. It's changing your cellular structure. And from a vibration standpoint, it's just raising your vibration. Super crazy cool. So do you guys want to know when I come back out of my overnight? Give it a couple days and see how my body's doing. You want me to give you an update? Or do you just like, I don't care? Because yeah, between this new parasite pills and the E system stuff that I'm going to do Saturday night, the overnight, I'm happy to share an update with y'all. So excited. If you're here in Texas, in San Antonio, the one here is called Centex Energy. It's like 45 minutes from me. And then there's another one in New Braunfels. There's one in Austin. I think there's one in Dallas. Like, there's several centers in Texas too, which I'm super excited about. But there's more coming. I mean, there's lots of centers open. It's just crazy to me. And I'm so excited that people are on board, they're on board. So I hope that if you're going through something, I've given you some hope. I don't know if y'all have noticed, like, I haven't been on as much as I normally do. I haven't been putting out as much as I want to, and it's been difficult because had good days. I've had bad days from the past several months. I've been pushing myself. I had to quit with my physical trainer, my personal trainer, because the pain in my stomach was getting bad, and I just didn't have the energy. Like, it was a push for me to go, and it's not because I'm being lazy. Like, things were getting bad, really bad. And he knows, like I told him, like, I can't come right now. I'll come back. It's so funny because since I've been back from Colorado, I lost another 3 pounds just in a matter of days. And I've kept those 3 pounds off. So altogether now I've lost 13 pounds. And I wish I could say it's all because I was exercising, but it's not. It's because I've been sick. Yeah. So, but here I go, and I'm still trucking on. I'm still working, still doing stuff with my clients. And now my brain and my creativity is back. And I love the spirit has guided me to the answers that I need exactly when I need them. Always happens. If you need any kind of health coaching, I do offer that. Or if you're looking for referrals and you didn't catch some of the stuff I was saying, just message me or put it in the comments, and I'd be happy to reply to y'all later. Anywho, I got to run. We got Charm Life coaching in 10 minutes. So I got to get to it. I wasn't even paying attention to the time. I love you guys. Thank you for all the love and support. For those of you who have been had my back, and still have my back. I love you and appreciate you. Thank you, Linda. I don't know you, I don't think, but thank you. I appreciate it. It will work for me. All the stuff combined that I'm doing, I'm not just doing one thing. Diet change, Ayurvedic medicine, parasite cleanse, this biomagnetism therapy, like all the things combined. Seen miracles in the past, healed a colon tumor in the past, healed leukemia in the past. This one's a bit different, and it's taken a lot of study and understanding of what causes it, what caused it, what the potential things are. It's taken a lot, It's just not, this one has not been as easy as some of the battles I faced before. It's just been tough. This one's been tough, and it's really done a number on me because my liver was starting to not work properly. My gallbladder wasn't dumping properly. Like things were not working properly. Just in the last couple of days, my liver and my gallbladder are starting to feel more normal. They're not all the way normal yet, but they're they're finally starting to dump like they're meant to when you're doing a cleanse. And that is just from doing the EE systems. I'm sure of it, because even with the herbs that I'm on, that wasn't doing it. It just wasn't doing it. My liver was just not happy. So I will come back and give you guys an update sometime next week, and we'll see. We'll see where I'm at. And maybe one overnight works. Maybe I have to do a few. But literally, like, what am I doing? Hanging out and sleeping. Who cares? Like, that's so much better than the alternative. There's answers out there if you go looking. So go check them out, eesystems.com. I don't work for them. I'm just giving y'all like options. And then the videos, you can go check them out. Jason Shurka, Shurka, from Unified Healing. His testimonials are just off the chain. And he works in conjunction with EE Systems. He's their sort of membership portal guy, but yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Super excited for what's to come this year. All right. Have a good one. I'll see you guys later.